right, let's get going here. It is cold today and rainy and cloudy where I am, so hopefully you are staying warm. I think I want to adjust the camera a little bit. Hopefully you're staying warm, healthy, and happy. For now, I am going to be continuing off where I left yesterday. For those of you curious about the schedule, I've gotten a couple comments offline about the schedule. I plan to be doing this roughly every weekday. About 30 minutes a day is kind of my goal. So if I can kind of take off, chip off small bites and kind of learn them a little bit at a time, then I will have achieved what I want. So we'll see how long it takes total, because I do have things spaced out, half an hour a day. It means that I may not make a lot of progress in the half an hour that I have, right? But what I am doing is I have better recollection of the things that I do learn, right? Because I am spacing it out, right? If you try and learn 8 hours of material in 8 hours in one day, like, it's in, out, right? You're gonna learn it and it's gonna go, and you're gonna retain some fraction, 10, 15, 20, maybe 30%, if you're really good, of what you do in 8 hours in a given day. Now, if you take that 8 hours of material and you break it out half an hour over 16 days, or even 15 minutes over 32 days, right? By the end of the 32 days, or by the end of the 16 days, you're going to have a much better recollection. You're going to be able to retain so much more of it, right? You know, and so that's kind of what I'm going for here, right? I'm in no rush, right? Got a lot of professional interest, but no necessarily professional, nothing super emergency pending that I need to use Elixir and Phoenix for and LiveView and whatnot. So I'm actually enjoying this. This is I find that learning a new language helps me. Learning a language, and anytime I learn a new language, I always learn something from it. Even though I've been writing software off and on for call it 40 years now, that I am able to, every new language, every new framework gives me something new, right? And typically it's something I can take to the other languages that I use in my day job or in my main projects, things like that. So it's always good to learn new perspectives. All right, so let's see here. Let me check out how we're doing so far. Okay, I am going to get started. So where we left off last week is we ran some commands to generate the models, right? And that was, let's see, it's in the ecto section, right? Mix Phoenix Gen schema, right? To create the models, right? We learned a little bit about repo, right? Which is the data store object, data manager object, whatever you want to call it. We learned about the user X, the user.ex file, which is the model file that's important to us. It also created some other stuff, the socket and whatnot that we haven't really looked at yet, but we're going to get to that. So we're going through this, and we also, I remember now, we also spent time creating the things. So now we're going to go and learn, now that we have the model, right, what is the right way to use the model, right? So we're going to go through the rest of this here. See if we can't get the model up on the page somehow, right? The objects we create. Okay, so where do we want to start? So we left off with going through the documentation. This guide is kind of what we want, what we've done there. So we talked about change sets. We learned about change sets and repos. Those are really important things that we have in our notes that we can relearn and whatnot. And I think this is roughly where we left off. Persistent repo insert. Okay, so these are just doing things. Inserts, probably updates, stuff like that. So when they say data persistence, they're talking about here's fetching. We're fetching all users and whatnot. Very good. And then using MySQL. Okay, so we're going to go back to views and templates, and then we're going to start mixing stuff together. Right? Views and templates. Was it controllers? There's a place where they actually created a user view and a user controller. So I want to see where that was because I think that's going to get us started. Okay, here it was. So there's all kinds of things we can do in there that correspond to different things. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's create in our controllers. Was it in here? Flash messages. All right. Action fallback. Routing. It might have been routing. There's somewhere we created some cool. There is. This is the part I remember. Right. So resources user. So this resources keyword here. So when you do a get in the router, where'd our router go? There it is. When you do a get in the router, right? It's basically doing one by one. Just get the one thing and handle that with an index function or whatever, right? Now, the resources is interesting because it kind of automatically creates a whole bunch of routes for you, right? A little bit magical there, right? And these are super common routes, for an API or for kind of like an object if you want to show something. So this is what we're going to do today. So we're going to create this, right? We have the to do. Right, we're going to create the users, right? So that's that. We're going to get most of these routes, and there are ways to only do a subset of the routes if you don't want all of them. We're just going to go with all of them for now. We have to now create our controller for users. Everything else there? No. So we want controller. So we're going to go to controllers, and we're going to do, don't close, new file within controllers called user underbar controller.ex. And that should jive with our router user controller, right? So I think these have to be named correctly to be to work correctly, to kind of tie each other to, or either that or it's a strong enough convention that you don't want to muck with it. So let's go back to our controller documentation and make a new control. That's goofy. So page controller actions, page controller, making the page controller do stuff. Hello controller. All right, so there's nothing special in here. All right, we can just copy a basic version of the controller to use as a template for our users controller. So, in fact, we'll just copy this one. Hello web. This is me not understanding naming convention, which I do understand now. User controller uses the hello web, the controller. Again, this is using the parent object. I think this is like inheritance style. Inherit from hello web controller, and then render index.html. Now, index.html is going to be in our templates area, new folder. I need a user folder, and I need to put a new file called index.html.eex, embedded Elixir. Again, we learned about embedded Elixir in our notes. Now that we've referenced the notes a couple times, we remember what EEX is. So I'm just going to copy this for now. So this is going to be users. We don't have any data in there or anything yet. So we'll just get this, and then we'll just say, why are you indented? Yeah, this is just to remind us that we're going to do a list all users, and then we'll just call this H3 just because. So eventually we're going to do a for loop in here. Can I do this? Can I do regular HTML? I can't. Fill this with a list of users. Okay. And then we don't have a user views yet in our view area, so let's make one new file. User underbar view.ex. And then just like to do, all we're really doing, we don't have any crazy logic or anything in here, so we're just using the parent user view, parent class for now. So if we go here, wait, am I running? Am I running? Yeah, this is running. We should just be able to go here and go to user to get a list of all users. No route for user. Is it? Did I do users? Did I call it users? Oops. Oops. Oh, come on. Users. Let's try users. There it is. All right. So that totally worked. All right. Now, what are we doing? So we have users, right? And now we need to get users from the ecto and put them in the view somehow. Process them with view. So what we did here is we manually created a user using the GUI, the Postgres GUI. So we went into the database and manually created a thing. So that's like using, I use the GUI here just so you all can see it. But it's the equivalent of using pSQL or any direct database manipulation apps. So what we want to do is go to ecto, and we want to, it's the data persistence is how we fetch things. Repo.insert, we're not creating anything. Source all, repo.all from you and user, select. All right. Takes a data source. Is this also repo.all? Oh, look at this. This is it. This may be all we need to do. Okay, repo.all. Repo user. Okay, so this is, here they're using the REPL, the basically the command line in Elixir parser / executor thingy. How would that look in an actual web page? Well, let's just guess, right? If this is repo dot, what do we know? So we created, there's top level hello web.repo, right? So it's ecto repo. Why don't we just try it? Why don't we just see what this happens here? Whoa. This is extra slow today. So let's go to, we're just going to experiment a little bit, right? So with the to controller, we passed, this is the syntax here, so we want to do users. I want to be specific about our naming convention here. So fetched users equals something, right? And then users that we're passing to, so fetched users is what we fetch, and we think we can just do repo.all user, repo.all user. And hey, we think we can do that. function, so users controller, which means that if we go to our to-do, all we got to do is this for user in users. We're not going to do anything complicated here. For now, we're actually just going to count. So we'll call this an unordered list. Oh, where's my autocorrect? And then our first list item. I'm missing some helpful things there. And then this is not to-dos, this is users. This is user. And this will just say, already I see some unhappiness. Let's see if I can point this way. This way. You see some unhappiness. Oops, there it is. In the terminal there. So something's gone wrong. But we're just going to say placeholder. And let's go back and see what this is complaining about. Okay, so module repo is not available. So we are here, right? And I have no idea what this repo thing is. So we have to import the repo somehow. So now we are in Elixir territory, right? So how do we import a library? There are many other data. Is there a clue? Alias, hello, repo user. What is this alias thing doing? So alias is like making a nickname. Def module, hello, repo migrations, create users. So do I need to do just hello web in front of this? Like that? Nope. Doesn't know what that is. What are our other options here? Any other clues? Def module hello repo, use ecto repo. So hello.repo. So we know that. Import ecto.change that use. Okay, so there's some clues here in our user model. Right? I see words like import and whatnot. So maybe I need an import, because once they do hello.user, it automatically means that I don't have to use the user. Well, let's go look here. Let's go look this up. So Elixir import alias. What do we got? What are these things doing for me? Thank you. Alias require import. Okay. Okay, so alias. All right, so alias is fairly straightforward. Let's go to our page, no, our user controller here. So what we're missing is import hello web repo, which we define way back here as hello web repo as the module we're defining. And then this looks like it's a fairly common convention. Alias hello web repo means that we can just use repo like that. And all right, look at this, a totally different error. hello web.repo is not loaded and could not be found. Well, that's not good design, is it? At least we're doing the right thing. It can't find it. Hello web.repo. Is that not what we called it? Hello web.repo. Oh, because we're not in the web area. We're in the data area. So hello web.repo alias hello web.repo. So this works. We're actually calling the repo.all and getting an error. So we've made actual progress here, which is exciting. Now let me see what was the progress we've made. We are doing repo.all user. Okay, so user is just a thing, right? We don't know. It doesn't know what a user is. And if I have to remember, right, when we defined user, it's hello web.user. So we can either do, I think, hello web.user would work there, or import an alias hello web.user. So let's try this for now, all right, and see how far this gets us. There it is. Okay, so it loaded the users and it put one placeholder because we have one entry here. Now, just to test things out, if we do guest and guest at example.com and guest, and this person has 2 pets, and then put in our date stamp because we don't have, this thing doesn't do defaults. And then we do save. Now that there's 2 items in here, we should see 2 placeholders. All right, so it is actually reading all users from the database. I wonder why I didn't need an import. Do I not need an import here either? Can I get rid of this and have this work? It works. Let's see, what is alias? Why do we not need an import? It's just because we're in the same thing? What is import? Okay. Imagine a module. Well, let's just write this down. That's a minor thing, right? We're gonna do our questions. We'll come back to this later. Why do we not need import hello web.repo? Repo. Why do we not need import hello web.repo? Seems to work without it. Look at that. What a great question. Now, what I want to try here is say, does the alias automatically import for us? And try this. And that would be our answer. Hello web.repo.all. So let's see if this works. And that works. So I guess the use hello web can see all the things there. We don't need to import it because something about using it already gets us everything in there. And maybe that's just all we're doing is we're creating a new module in the hello web, and hello web can see hello web because they're all part of the same library. All right, I have to learn more about scoping in Elixir and namespacing, but this is good enough for now. Okay, let's see here. So this is pretty good. Now, we've got just about all I want to see here. I would like to see a name and an email, I think at a minimum. Let's see, we got about 5 minutes, so let's see how much of that we can get through here. So let's go back to the data persistence stuff, all right? It's inserting. When we do an all, we get a thing. Select the debug, it does the query for us, and then we get this, it looks like a map, an array of maps, because we know that the what they call a linked list, so array-ish thing of maps, right? And the percentage is the map. So a linked list or array-ish, kind of a lightweight array of maps, because the percent is our map thing. user. This looks like an object more than an actual array, but we're going to come more than an actual map. So maybe there's something special about this syntax here where it's an object type thing with fields. Either way, let's see if we can't do something with this. So let's go back to our user. I don't think we need these anymore. We can close some of these. Oh my goodness, it is so slow today. Fight on, tiny little machine. Fight. User index. So instead of placeholder, we want to put in, oh, I already forgot the syntax. Percent equal something, something, something. Stuff here like this. This is our basic syntax. Percent equal, instead of the to do, we want user dot name. Look at that. That was a piece of cake. And we'll do it email style. User dot email. Privacy leak. Well, that was a piece of cake. That just worked. All right, just the fact that these dot notation here was able to pull that out for us. I didn't know if that was going to work or not. What are our other options? Can we do map type access? We're just experimenting here for a little bit. No. All right, well, this is good enough for now. We are coming up to the half-hour mark, but this is more or less exactly what I wanted to see here, right? I think next time we will see about making a detail page, that specifically in our routing. I don't know if you remember, we talked about resources, right? How it kind of makes all these things for us, right? We're going to, so what we did is this one, we got a list of users, right? Now we want to get a detail page thing. If we want to see the details of a specific user, what does that look like? So we'll work on that next time. Okay. That's all I have today. I've got some chat spam. I'll take care of that later. Thank you very much, and hopefully this gives you a sense of how to learn a new language and programming framework. So I'll appreciate it, and I will see you. Let's see, today is Friday in my time zone, so I'll see you Monday, right? And we'll do another half hour. Great, thank you very much.